new nutrition tips. I'm always looking to get a few nutrition tips here and there. And the topic today really resonates with me as well, because we're going to look at sort of daily fiber intake, and it's an area that, you know, I know from my own experiences, I've looked into like gut health and stuff like that, and I've got my pen and paper ready to get a few tips. And we've got KRISTEN Stavridis, nutritionist, going to give us some insight into some research around daily fiber needs. KRISTEN, welcome to the show. Great to have you on board. Can you give us the rundown, KRISTEN, please, on the daily fiber needs?
Yeah, of course. So most people don't realise that, you know, fibre is a nutrient that we need to be getting enough of each and every day for our gut health and things like balancing out our energy levels, keeping us fuller for longer. But we actually need 30 grams of fibre per day. But the average person in the UK right now is getting around 18 to 19 grams of fibre per day. And actually 96% of us in this country right now are not hitting that recommended amount of 30 grams. So I always say the golden 30, that's the number, and the how many grams that we need of fibre per day to just really help us feel amazing.
That's interesting. And I mean, I sort of mentioned, KRISTEN, my own journey to sort of look into this, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's the foods. It's like there's so much information out there. When I was looking to increase fiber and improve gut health, there was just so much information out there. It was sort of mind-boggling, really. You know, it can be quite challenging. I mean, the things I sort of have, you know, oats now, and try and get sweet potatoes in, and you know, other things as well, like apples and that sort of stuff. Really, I'm no expert in the field, but you know, can you give us a bit of an insight into what we can sort of look at to get those 30 grams?
Yeah, so like you said, things like oats are a really great source of fibre. You've got 10.4 grams in a 100 gram serving there. Things like blueberries or raspberries, really great source. Avocados. One of my favourites is dark chocolate, or also the strong root sweet potato fries, because you're going to get 4.1 grams of fibre in a 100 gram serving there, and they taste amazing. They're really nice and crispy. So I just add them alongside, maybe if I'm having like a cottage pie or a lasagna or a pasta dish, I just pop a side of sweet potato fries in there. Super yummy, and it just helps me hit my fibre goals and fill that fibre gap.
That's interesting. And just on the dark chocolate, I wasn't aware of that. That sounds good, to be fair, because I mean, I'm sure everyone likes a bit of chocolate. I certainly do. Is there any sort of specific sort of dark chocolates we can look out for, KRISTEN? Because that's another thing as well. I mean, sort of like trying to find which one probably is going to be, I wouldn't say the best one, but you know, the one that's going to sort of have that sort of fibre. Is there anything specific we can look at, or?
Yeah, so basically the darker the chocolate, the more fibre you're going to find in that chocolate bar. So I would say just get at least 75% dark chocolate, and then you'll be good to go. That will kind of have increasing amount of fibre as you go up in the percentage of the chocolate there.
Yeah, and absolutely, and because some of the bars when you go to the supermarket give you sort of the percentage as well on there too. And in terms of oats as well, I mean, I know this is going off track a little bit, but in my own experience, I sort of started with, you know, those convenience ones where you kind of pour the water in type thing, but then I sort of read the ingredients and I started reading a bit more, and you know, people like, I read about sort of getting organic ones instead and that sort of stuff, really. I mean, what's your take on that, KRISTEN? What can we sort of look at oats wise? So is there anything specific that you think is worth sort of considering?
Yeah, look, you know, if you're someone that's really busy, and if your little packet of oats is replacing what you previously had, maybe you had like a coffee and a pastry from a coffee chain, then you're making great progress. You don't need to be too hard on yourself. Oats in general are really healthy. If you are someone who's looking out for things like sugar content, maybe just read the labels. If your oats packet has loads and loads of sugar added to it, then maybe you could switch it for like a berry flavored one, or even just non-flavored, and add your own berries in there. But don't overcomplicate it. We all live really busy lives. Getting your nutrition right is already difficult enough. So just making simple habits, and if that golden syrup porridge that you're having in the morning is replacing something that was way less healthier, then you're making great progress.
Yeah, no, I was thinking more specifically the chocolate one was the one that
Yeah.
I liked initially, and then obviously sort of like from there I had a look and thought, okay, well maybe I'll sort of go for the organic one and put a few blueberries in there type thing. But then I suppose once you kind of start looking for these things, Kristen, the issue is that the algorithms then start to flood you information, and you start to think, okay, well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, and then becomes a mindful. I think that's sort of a sensible idea to think. Okay, well, I'm moving in the right direction at least. That's a good start. Because otherwise it can be a bit of a minefield out there to sort of like to find sources of information. I mean, you've mentioned some sort of foods there that can be with fibre. Is there sort of anything else you can think of, sort of, Kristen? I mean, just basically, because I mean, some foods are going to appeal to different people. I mean, I'm sure dark chocolate appeal to everybody or most people, but is there sort of anything else out there that you can kind of think of and say, okay, well, maybe I'm not sort of too keen on this type of food, but I'll try something else?
Yeah, so you could maybe, if you have white pasta in your cupboards and you need to stock up on that next week, just switch it out for brown pasta. That's a really easy swap. Or
Mm.
instead of white bread, grab brown bread. Or you could add, side of sweet potatoes onto your dinner tonight, or even green peas are a really great source of fibre too. Berries or dried fruits, or nuts as well.
Absolutely, and there's also, I'm guessing, the smoothie option. I like to make a smoothie myself. I put in a bit of avocado, some blueberries, and a few other things here and there. I mean, what's your take on smoothies, Kristen? Can they be useful? I think from a time perspective, and they sort of taste well. You can put some of those like, dark chocolate chips in there as well too, and
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So smoothies are really healthy, especially if you're adding like a healthy source of carbohydrates. You're adding a bit of protein there, a bit of healthy fats. I like to add actually cauliflower or even some mashed sweet potato or even
mm,
sometimes broccoli into my smoothies. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, especially if you're kind of new to the smoothie game, but things like that, blending them in, you don't even taste it, and it helps to balance out your blood sugar, and just get extra vitamins and minerals and nutrition in there too.
mm. And what's interesting for me is that sort of, if I sort of reflect on my own experience to try and introduce and improve gut health, so I went from sort of having little to no fiber to bringing fiber in there. But I sort of consciously thought, am I maybe having too much? Obviously, with the oats, with apples, with the smoothies, and that sort of stuff. Really, is there a point that I know everyone's sort of different, but is there a point we maybe have to be sort of mindful too that maybe there's too much in there, or
Yeah, so there's no kind of upper limit for fiber. We actually have seen it in data that the more fiber you have, you kind of start getting extra benefits. But
mm,
what I'd say with this is most people, we're not getting enough. And what happens is when we really dramatically increase the amount of fiber we have without our gut allowing time to get used to it, we get a bit bloated, we can get a bit backed up, we
mm.
just don't feel good. So what I would say is slowly but surely increase your fiber, match that percentage fiber increase with increased water and hydration. And if you're getting 30 grams of fiber or a little bit more, you're on a really good track now for better health.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. And sort of having mentioned that, sort of that's one of the things I sort of noticed in the beginning. Really, it might have been shock to the system where But I suppose in saying that, the interesting thing is it's not sort of something that sort of seems to be documented. There's a lot of stuff out there. Like I've certainly seen a lot of stuff out there about like introducing different types of sort of vegetables and other stuff like that. But I don't sort of recall, if I'm honest, Kristen, sort of much information on fibre until sort of recently. I think there's maybe it's an algorithm. I don't know, but I suppose that. Do you think there's more sort of like there's more info on this area now? Do you think that there seems to be more information and more being said about having fibre than there has been in the past?
Yeah, we've kind of previously in the last decade or so, we've seen that protein has really taken the limelight. But
Mm.
fiber, we're starting to understand now with all the research coming out about gut health that actually fiber is this amazing nutrient that it has a lot more benefits and functions than we previously thought. We kind of used to associate it just with like going to the bathroom and bowel habits, but actually it's got to do with things like our mental health. It can help boost our sleep, our skin. It can help support our immune system and help with weight management as well. So it's a lot cooler than we initially thought of it. But yeah, fibre is starting to have its time to shine now, thankfully, this year. I think this is the year for fibre.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I find really interesting. I find that sort of fascinating, the sort of like, the gut brain and the immune and that sort of stuff as well. I think it's quite, interesting research going on around those areas, and definitely sort of like it's quite interesting how it does have a big impact on different, potentially on different areas of our life as well. I suppose sort of, for anyone sort of listening, think, what, this is interesting. I think I might want to start somewhere. What are some things they can sort of consider if they want to take a step? What could be a practical thing to sort of begin with to try and introduce fibre? Kristen, like on a practical level where they can kind of manage it.
Yeah, so it's just start small. Start with small swaps. Maybe it's switching to brown bread or brown pasta or brown rice, or maybe switching your regular chips that you have in the evening to strong root sweet potato fries, getting an extra 4.1 grams of fibre in there per 100 grams serving. Even switching your milk chocolate to dark chocolate, that boosts the fibre, or even just leaving your skins on fruits and veggies. So when you're popping your sweet potato in an air fryer, or your regular potato, or your apples even that you're eating, just leave the skins on those. It really does make a difference.
Okay, that's interesting, to be fair. Yeah, that's an interesting one. The apples is an interesting one because I generally buy, for convenience, the ones that have already been sort of cut and good to go, where sort of, sometimes I contemplate, buying the ones with the sort of skins already on there type thing and washing it and eating it, so to speak. But that, little things like that, I think, are really interesting and can make a big difference. If anyone's interested to know more about your work, Kristen, would you like to signpost them anywhere to learn more about what you do or anything else?
Yeah, of course. You can check out my Instagram at Nutritionist Kristen. I've got a book coming out next week on the 5th of March called The Fibre Fix. Or if you want to just check out more about like higher fibre, yummy recipes, you can go to the Strong Roots websites. It's just strongroots.com, or their social media pages, or even just the NHS website for just general fibre information as well.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And congratulations on the book. I'm sure it'll be a big success. For anyone listening there you go. On the 5th of March, did you say, Kristen, the book's out on fibre? So
yes, 5th of March.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time. It's been really interesting and informative, and I'll check out the book myself. I'm always interested in new tips, that's for sure. So thank you, and have a great day.
You too, thank you.
Nutrition tips. I'm always looking to get a few nutrition tips here and there. And the topic today really resonates with me as well, because